I'm MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 129 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover a bunch of news, including recent movie releases, game releases, and manga releases.
So hi, how have you been?
Oh, good. You know, it's been like 9 months.
So, life.
Yeah.
Josh, you're the only person who knows that that's my Rob Dyrdek impersonation. Which I always quote because I used to have to do closed captions for ridiculousness. And, he just says the dumbest shit. And so, one day he just says to them, the introduction is hey guys, life. And there's the worst lead-in ever, which is what we're giving you today. Just the worst lead-in ever. No, not a good explanation because, hey, life was weird.
No, life was
real strange.
Y'all, 2025.
Man.
For real, when we dropped the last episode we did, which was unfortunately dropped at the beginning of the year, January 1st, right?
Yeah, and it was the beginning of a two-parter of the end of City Hunter 3.
Right.
This is a real stupid place to come back in, and we are further delaying you from the finale of that
But for those
season.
of you that know, here out in Los Angeles where we record this and live, there were fires.
Oh, that was pretty bad.
And the year just kind of went on like that from there.
The year has been constantly on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, just completely
and so
constantly on fire.
Finally here, mid to late September.
Oh, this is late September now.
September.
But especially by the time you guys are hearing this, because you still have to edit this.
That is true. I have to get back into that. Oh, joy. We are finally back in a place where we are both able to do this, because mind you, we've been wanting to do this again for a while, but wouldn't you know it, the both of us just got over COVID too.
Yeah, I'm still like Josh is probably gonna have to edit around me clearing my throat once in a while. Hopefully you guys in the end won't even hear any of that. It's the magic of Josh's editing.
I'm a magician.
I'm a magician, yeah.
No, I'm the magician.
Okay, fine. Today you're the magician.
To get back into the swing of things, when we started this podcast all these years ago, we figured we were only two of a very small number of people who actually enjoyed City Hunter in the modern era.
There are dozens of us.
There are dozens of us now. And it's so crazy to think that after all these years, we're at a place now where, quite honestly, there is more City Hunter available than I ever thought there was going to be when we started.
Well, yeah, I thought it was going to be thank you, Discotech, for all that you have done to preserve this franchise. That manga's never coming back. Oh well, it is what it is. I guess we're just never going to finish it. Lo and behold, this year happened, and suddenly, there's a whole bunch of content to talk about. And that's why, when we came back in on this one, suddenly, and especially suddenly today, specifically as we record this, there's new news of City Hunter shit, okay? Just a lot of really cool stuff going on. Before we even get too far, I want to thank the publisher Kana for sending me 2 volumes. The first volumes, both of Cat's Eye and City Hunter.
Both by Tsukasa Hojo.
Both by Tsukasa Hojo. They just released yesterday in Omnibus, and they sent me review copies of both of these manga, and we're going to talk about those a little later on in the episode. It was so kind of them. We went to Anime NYC this year.
Yes.
We got to talk to a bunch of people who worked in the manga industry. Just what a crazy year. Just a crazy year. We'll get more to that when we get up to that segment, but this is what I mean. Yesterday the manga released, and then today there's more news of other shit
that we weren't even gonna cover until we barely saw it maybe 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, to round everything out, since we're going to be talking about both City Hunter and Cat's Eye, the new Cat's Eye anime comes out this weekend.
In 2 days. Yeah, the remake Cat's Eye anime, which comes out on
a platform that you may or may not want to support right now, and we understand that completely.
Disney Plus, you go where your heart leads you, okay?
Yes, we understand the choices everybody has to make right now. But to go ahead and backtrack, because admittedly, when you're off the air for 9 months, stuff happens. So some of you might remember and recall that we were complaining that we had to import a foreign copy of City Hunter Angel Dust, the most recent theatrical theatrical release of City Hunter.
You'll remember we went to Japan a couple years ago while it was still in theaters.
Right.
And we talked about what that experience was like. It was cool. It was cool to see it in
dressed as
theaters.
Rio, and I'm happy I did it.
Yeah. So we had seen it already, but there was no legal North American distribution for like a full year, or really anywhere outside of Japan. And then, yeah, it was All the Anime, a UK distributor, who snatched up the license. And they were like, oh, we're releasing it in English, just subtitled. And I'm like, what do you mean? Discotek always does this. I don't know. All the Anime was like, haha, we gotta get in there and go, wata! We gotta get this thing. And I was like, well, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna be importing these DVDs and Blu-rays. And, you know, the DVD, like, plays on our PS5, like, I was like, okay, guess this is what it is. Like, it is a very bare bones DVD and Blu-ray. Right? It does what it needs to do. It's fine.
Well, then Shout Studios comes along and is like, oh, you thought it was Discotek? Nah, it was me, Austin, and they release Angel Dust.
So, and it's in partnership with All the Anime. So
Yeah.
they got it from All the Anime in the UK, and Shout Factory did the North American distribution.
Mind
and
you,
I'm just
with-
very confused.
With the equal amount of bells and whistles, which was none.
Yeah, there's no additional anything.
There's no dub.
We actually still haven't bought that North American release yet, and admittedly, at least the All the Anime release allowed me to purchase a steelbook. There's no steelbook release in North America. We don't get that option. So, like, sure, I guess I could buy it twice. But what about the cool steelbook? I've already got the steelbook. They're not gonna sell me another one.
Like,
so.
if they had done a dub, we would have bought it.
Yeah, I mean, I still might. I don't know. Like, they didn't announce. It was so strange. I talked about it on the podcast the last time, that I had posted on Blue Sky saying, God, should I import this? I don't know if I should import this. What if this is supposed to come out in North America? And then I was like, well, I guess I'll do it. And I pulled the trigger on it, and I bought it. And then All the Anime replied to me on Blue Sky, and they said, oh, don't worry, we'll put it out in America. Eventually, we'll let you know.
Like,
and
after you had hit the button.
It wasn't even like an official announcement. Their announcement was them replying to me on Blue Sky. It was real strange, but fine. Okay, it's out. You guys should definitely go get it, though. You should go watch it, because we waited like a really long time for it. I thought it was really strange how long it took.
Mind you, I would also say, yes, because of the current state of how things are to ship things, you should definitely get that, because it's easier to get than something imported from another country right now, for reasons that are probably very apparent to most everyone listening.
Oh yeah, if you're interested at all in media that is not from America, you understand. So just get the Shout Factory, or they're just Shout now. They don't
Shout
go.
Studios.
Shout Studios. Just get the Shout Studios release. It's City Hunter. They're clearly trying to build the rest of this story out and actually address the things that are happening in the manga. Just go do that. It's fine. It's a good movie. I really enjoy that movie. I think it's great, and you should watch it.
I do enjoy the movie. I just don't think it's as fun as Shinjuku Private Eyes was.
No, Shinjuku Private Eyes was like, hey guys, we're definitely back, and we're the same characters that you loved decades ago. Don't forget us. And that was enjoyable. I liked that.
Yeah. But no, definitely for plot's sake, and we always say, go for the plot, go watch Angel Dust.
Exactly. So that happened. What happened just yesterday? There was an announcement of an exhibit or something. So later this year, in just a couple of months, from the end of November to the end of December, City Hunter Forever City Hunter is a museum of art exhibit at the Ueno no Mori Museum of Art. And it's supposed to be just this big, huge, expansive City Hunter exhibit.
I think they said they're going to have like over 200 pieces on display at this thing, stuff that's never been shown before.
It's supposed to be celebrating, I believe, the 40th anniversary of City Hunter, so it's supposed to be pretty damn huge. There's really special, unique things that are also on sale at this exhibit. A snow globe and a unique painting that can only be found here. So that painting be expensive. It's like $110
something
or
like that.
that.
I
So
mean, it looks really cool.
I would love to go to it if not for the fact that it's coming up real fast, so...
Yeah, when you really think about it, that's a little over, 6 to 8 weeks from now?
Yeah, like, it opens, 2 months from now.
No, a little less than, yeah.
And it'll run for barely over a month. Mm-hmm. So, not a whole lot of time. If we're already gonna happen to be in that area anyway, tell me how it is. I don't see how it could be possible for me to get out there in that amount of time, as cool as that would be. I would really like to be there, though.
Myself included, because it'd be really cool to see all of this art up close and personal. But, that's something we barely saw last night. An announcement about City Hunter. So we were getting ready, we had been talking about these review copies of the manga for a while. So we were prepping to do tonight's thing, and then just 30 minutes ago or something like that, I come across this thing on my YouTube recommendeds that's City Hunter video game. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? There was only one City Hunter video game.
And they're like, that's right, there was only one City Hunter video game. That's the one!
That's the one we're talking about!
Because Tokyo Game Show's happening right now, and I guess a whole bunch of cool shit is getting announced right this second, because it's one of the press days right now. It's not the open public days yet, it's just the press days. So this is a Sunsoft release. It was a Sunsoft release originally for the PC Engine, and now it's gonna come out again in 2026. The City Hunter for the PC Engine, except now it's gonna be on Steam and PS5 and Xbox and Switch, I guess, and now it's gonna have Get Wild in it for some reason. It didn't used to have Get Wild in it.
Mind you, we've talked about it at length here on the show before, and that soundtrack does not have Get Wild, however, it is a banger. It's not a hard game, you couldn't really play because, again, it was on the PC Engine, not for PC. I did figure out how to get a ROM working for it.
Sure, yeah.
Because, mind you, that thing's hell out of print and nobody's gonna get mad at it.
No.
But, we've joked about
maybe they would now, because clearly somebody was doing something with it.
Yeah, I guess so, because, this was not on anybody's bingo card, right?
No. But man, Sunsoft makes some banger soundtracks. You and I both know the Batman games. I think both the Game Boy and the NES were both Sunsoft.
Specifically the 89 movie tie-in games.
Yes.
For both of those. Really good soundtracks. Stupidly good.
Yeah, so this is on that level of those games. They're really, really good soundtracks. So it's crazy because it's being released internationally. I didn't think this was on anybody's radar outside of Japan, except maybe for France. And not only that, it's getting translated into English and Spanish and French, and in French, they're giving them Nicky Larson also. I'm not sure if it's different, you get to choose which translation you want. Oh, do you want it to be Rio, or do you want it to be Nicky? I'm not really sure. They kind of make it sound like you might be able to pick, oh, I want the French Nicky Larson version. I can't even believe they're doing it.
I want my Mokkori with an accent.
A French accent.
Well, no,
yeah.
I want my Mokkori with a baguette. That's what it is.
With a baguette and a hat. And the striped shirt. I'm saying I want Expedition 33. That's what I'm saying.
You already have
I have already played that. That is a fantastic game.
And this is the thing about it, though. If somebody reached way, way back into the historical archives to get this ROM and be like, hey, does anybody want this? Okay, I'm gonna re-release it. Would this then? And I know I'm reaching here, beyond reaching, because we just got done watching the Ryuga Gotoku Direct last night.
Yeah.
If they're willing to save this old Sunsoft license for City Hunter, Ryuga Gotoku, would you please listen to us and just do a Yakuza 0 City Hunter skin on top of it game? Please?
I wish they would. It would be so easy, and I promise there's an audience for it. It would be in just Japan and in France, I promise.
It would be just like Fist of the North Star.
It would be just like Fist of the North Star. This sounds like it would just print money. I don't understand.
Because, all you have to do is overlay all the mini-games that you know and love from the Yakuza franchise and just put it with Kaori and Ryo.
Just let Ryo go bowling or something. I don't know.
People would eat that up!
They would. I would. Anyway, this game's coming out in February, so that's not all that far off. Here's my question, though. You think they're going to change some of the bosses in the game? Because for some reason, 3 of the bosses in this game are 3 of Toei's metal heroes.
Well, yeah, it's very clearly Charivan, Scheider, and Gavon that he fights.
For no reason. Like, I feel like they just were like, well, we want to make this video game, and like City Hunter, making it look like City Hunter was the afterthought.
Well, see, because
that's what it
here's
feels
the thing
like
about
to
it.
me.
Like, again, thinking of a Sunsoft game, I think of that Batman NES release, and there's villains you fight in that game that have nothing to do with the movie.
Right. They just wanted to make a game, so they made a game.
Right, and you know, you can play... Or back in the day, they used to play fast and loose with copyright like that, so it didn't matter that you threw in licensed characters. It doesn't matter that Ryo's fighting a saber-toothed tiger. It doesn't matter that Batman's fighting a giant electric ninja.
Why
that's
does
not in the
Ryo
movie.
fight a Minotaur? When does that happen? It doesn't. It does not happen in the manga or the anime. He does not fight a Minotaur.
To be fair, I've only read so much of the manga for this episode.
He has not fought a Minotaur, Josh. I'm sorry.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
Do you?
Yes.
You read the whole manga?
I read like half of it.
So you can only speak so much to it.
Josh, there's not a Minotaur.
I know. But yeah, we weren't expecting that. And that's a thing coming. So whatever your console of choice is, you know, Switch, PS5, what have you, Steam, you can go play that.
I'm
and
really surprised to see, like, an onslaught of people going, oh my god, really? Wow!
Well, yeah,
like,
if
they're
you
very
go to
excited
the
about
if you go
it.
to the announcement video right now, you can see people being like, "Oh my god, day 1 release, God is good." Like, I didn't think there were as many of us out there, but they're out
There's dozens of us, Josh.
There are literally dozens of us.
So I'm excited about that. So aside from the game, like, we kind of already talked about, hey, the new Cat's Eye anime is about to come out on Disney Plus in just a couple of days. By the time the podcast is out, it might be up, like, you might have it out by then. I don't know. That having been said, the French Cat's Eye has been out, the live-action series.
Which, mind
been
you,
out in France.
It's a different title, so...
It's Cat Eyes?
Yes, plural eyes. So, the anime and the manga is Cat's Eye, singular, and the live-action adaptation that's an 8-episode drama is Cat's Eyes.
Because that's what it was called in France. The anime was also called Cat's Eyes in France. That's why it's called that.
I would make a joke in French, but I don't know enough French for what cat or eye is.
Isn't cat chat?
Oh, I guess so.
Don't we know that?
I guess
Isn't
I
that
do
a thing
know
that we know? I have
guess
no
I know
idea
that.
I don't know what eye is. Like, I said I was gonna study French. Yeah, that went out the window.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen.
So, that series has been distributed in some other countries since. Like, it's gone to Brazil and Mexico. So it's been translated into Spanish and Brazilian Portuguese. It has never crossed over into an English-speaking country and legally translated into English. That has never happened, so maybe one day we'll see it, but I don't know when that's gonna be.
And then apparently they got greenlit for a season 2, so I guess it did well enough.
Well, the French love them some Cat's Eye and really anything Tsukasa Hojo, so...
This is true.
America needs to catch up, and it sounds like America is slowly catching up. Because here's the part that I'm really excited about. This is what I really wanted to build this whole episode around, right? We got the manga. We got the Cat's Eye manga. We got the City Hunter manga. Again, they are provided by Kana. Thank you so much to Kana for sending along the review copies. I had actually pre-ordered these also, and now they're like on the way right now.
Yes.
So now we gotta figure out what to do with these other 2 copies of the book.
We'll think of something.
We'll think of something. In any case, Kana is super interesting because, like I said, we were at Anime NYC, right? And we were talking to lots of people in the manga industry, including people from Kana. It was very much clarified to me that Kana is not the same as the French publisher Kana, although they are both owned by the same person. It's just you think of them as 2 totally different companies, like somebody who had 2 kids and they named both of those kids the same name.
So it's one company and another company with a beret.
Yes.
Okay, that's how I'll view that.
I want to talk about the Cat's Eye manga first because it came before City Hunter.
Yes.
Right? So both you and I read through the entirety of these omnibus
Cover to
edition.
cover, we read both of these.
They're great publications. I love that they feature
some of these color pages.
There's some color pages. They left some of those black and red printings that used to get printed in Shonen Jump at the time. I believe, if I am not mistaken, this is the first time that Cat's Eye, the manga, has been published in North America, I think.
As far as I'm aware, that is correct.
And it's kind of easy to tell that, like, oh yes, clearly this came before City Hunter. I think it's slightly less developed than City Hunter is. I think it's still great. I think it's still a very fun read. It is a more brisk read than City Hunter is.
Well, yeah, it's just that there's a lot of differences between it and the anime. Namely, there's the inclusion of a character, another gentleman thief here in the manga that does not show up in the anime. Goes by the name of Rat.
He's got a real name, but really by the end of everything, like, they just kind of boil it down to calling him Rat all the time.
And this is the guy that Tsukasa Hojo was cutting his teeth on that's like, I like the perviness of Lupin III. I want my own version, but I'm probably not going to be able to stick him in the anime because then I'll get sued to hell and back.
Well, it probably wasn't even his decision, actually.
Probably
honestly.
not, no.
The anime studio was probably like, oh, this is just blatantly Lupin III. We can't do that.
Is that the reason why we finally got to Lupin versus Cat's Eye?
It feels like this was the logical progression. This is how it was meant to be the entire time. Like, they've got Rat in here. He's making the silly, stupid Lupin smirk all the time, right?
Right.
And also, he loves touching butts. He touches butts probably more than Lupin ever did, okay? Or at least he wants to touch one specific butt. A whole lot.
Specifically Hitomi.
But it's also clear, like, look at his face. I've got it turned to page 203 right now, okay?
Everybody turn in your textbooks.
Turn your textbooks to page 203. Is that not just Proto-Ryo? Look at that face!
It's somewhere in the middle. Because, yes, it's Tsukasa Hojo's art, so it's got a very distinct look to it when it comes to faces. But then, that's also a very Lupin grin on this guy's face.
But, like, you also read the City Hunter manga. Does Ryo not just sometimes make that face, too?
No, he does. He does. But see, like, the style is more developed there, and that makes sense because it's the work that comes afterwards. So, it looks more distinct. And it's his own character.
Right, right.
And, like, for the most part, it hits the same beats that the anime covers later on down the road. But I found it was a pretty quick read, all things considered.
It's pretty brisk. It's also in a pretty different order from the anime. If you are only familiar with the anime, they introduced the idea of, oh, we're stealing paintings to try to look for our dad, like, immediately. They introduced that immediately right out the gate in the anime, right? That takes a long time to get to in the manga, actually. It kind of feels like Hojo wasn't sure what the overarching plot was yet. He just knew he wanted thief girls.
Right.
That feels like, well, what else do I need to start writing a manga?
The other thing, too, that I noticed as you're going through it is that compared to the anime, I get sidelined way more in the manga.
It's clearly the Hitomi show, right?
Yes.
In both aspects. But mostly,
the Hitomi show featuring Ruri and I.
Yeah, but especially in the manga, right? It makes it pretty clear now, having read this manga, oh, when they say Cat's Eye, they mean Hitomi. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes her two other sisters are there. So, like, you're always advertised this series like, oh, it's these three sisters. And yeah, that's true. But, like, one of them is really important. Which is fine. Like, I'm okay with that. It's just, oh, it's not really what you think it's gonna be.
But all that having been said, it's a great release. Everything here reads naturally. Even though these are series from the early to mid 80s, none of the dialogue feels stilted or dated, thankfully.
No, this is really good localization. I think this is a fantastically well localized book. I believe Kana is relatively new to North America publishing, so these are really great books straight out the gate for them. MSRP on these books is $29.99. I don't know if you'll be able to find any other deals elsewhere. I know it's available on Amazon for sure. Some people I already saw, they were finding it like it was hitting certain bookshelves before the official release date in some places. Saw one person get really excited like, oh wow, they hit my local comic book shop. So that was really neat to hear.
That comic book shop is in the know then.
Yeah.
Because admittedly, for owning a piece of manga history, I think if I remember correctly, Cat's Eye on its own, as a series, has circulated at least 20 million copies.
Yeah, it's a really well-selling series, and I would be willing to bet that, like, half of that is France, frankly.
It's probably a safe bet. But no,
safe
definitely Cat's Eye is solid. It's worth the read if you got the time to read it. You can read it in an afternoon.
Yeah, it only took you like a couple hours, right?
Well, in general, I'm a fast reader, but it also helped that, again, the dialogue felt very natural.
The pacing in Cat's Eye is very, very good. I think it's a very fun read. That having been said, I'd actually like to move on to City Hunter because this is a City Hunter podcast.
Yes.
So, like, I'm pulling out the City Hunter volume right next to me right now.
And the one thing we're very kind of chuckling to ourselves about is the sticker on the front here.
A Netflix live-action film! I think they've got this on all the shelves, too. The sticker, I think, is there.
Which is true.
It's true.
And
it's
again,
great.
we can't speak highly enough of that Netflix adaptation. If you still haven't watched it, what are you doing?
Yeah. Right out the gate, because we know more about City Hunter than we do about Cat's Eye, right? They are clearly pulling from the more recent XYZ editions of the manga that have gone to print in Japan. I believe France got it. I believe Italy also got it, if not other countries. So these are more recent releases that they are basing this omnibus off of. We have a couple of volumes of the older Raijin comics
Right,
releases.
that's what I was about to say, yeah.
Yeah. So checking it against those, this goes a little past Volume 3 and a little bit into Volume 4 of that original release.
Well, I guess it's worth noting here then, the Cat's Eye release has 23 chapters in it, whereas City Hunter here has 25 chapters.
Yeah. Looking at the cover of Volume 1 here, it's clear that they've based it off these XYZ editions, right? The spine is the same as the Japanese XYZ edition, but the cover is different. I'm not sure why they picked this particular art for America's Volume 1. Like, it's not a big deal or anything.
You know, Ryo's on there front and center giving a thumbs up.
But I'm fairly certain that shows up on the cover of a later volume. Maybe they just were hoping for a particular vibe that would maybe resonate with Americans that might be less familiar, and so maybe they picked a later one. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the content of what is actually in the manga. Love all these color pages right up front. So this was your first time reading through any of the manga, right?
Yes, it was.
Because I had already gotten started reading the comics app translation done by our friend David Evelyn. They had gone pretty far into the manga on the app. This is still basically his translation with just very few little adjustments and improved lettering. So the lettering looks different than it did on the app. Looks great. This is a solid release. Love this.
Now, the thing about it is, this being a City Hunter podcast, you would figure, oh, I'm going to impress upon you to go ahead and get City Hunter more so than Cat's Eye, and I'm going to do that just right now. Because, seriously though, it was such a more enjoyable read. Not that I don't like Cat's Eye, it's just that the City Hunter manga, it reads like the way watching Rush Hour for the first time feels. It's a nice, brisk jog through the world of Shinjuku, of Ryo.
Well, it feels more detailed and more real, like, which is funny to say because in both cases they're the same world. Actually, they're the same universe, and they're both Shinjuku.
But at the same time, something about the manga, it feels more lived in.
Yeah,
like Tsukasa somehow made this world feel more alive.
I think he had grown into it by the time you get to City Hunter. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with Cat's Eye, but I think you can see a very clear, he grew as an artist and as a storyteller by the time he got to City Hunter, and then he found, man, I really love City Hunter. I don't ever want to stop making City Hunter, so I'll keep making excuses to make, like, spin-off City Hunters and
see,
shit.
like, the thing of it here compared to the anime, mind you, the anime tells these stories out of order from the manga.
A little bit, yeah.
Because the manga here, the first story here is the boxer,
which I believe is the second episode of the
second
anime.
Or third, if I'm not mistaken, because I don't have my notes with me right now. Point being, somehow the manga, even starting with that story, which isn't a great intro for Ryo as a character necessarily, but it is a good City Hunter story, there's still a consistent through line that you feel that you're watching this one plot as we're going through these 25 chapters, and it feels really well paced and so funny.
It's very funny. David Evelyn is a fantastic, not only translator, but you have to realize that a translator also has to be a good writer.
Yes.
David, like, I love David so much. He knows so much shit. Like, everyone will brag about that on David, right? Is that for some reason, somehow, he knows every reference that has ever existed.
Japanese pop culture reference that you could think of coming out of these books, he's aware of.
These are old-ass references, okay? This is, what, 1985? Right?
Right, and then referencing further back than that sometimes.
And there are very specific references to fucking politicians, pop stars, all kinds of crazy shit in here. It's all in here. And there's notes in here. If I'm not mistaken, these are David's notes.
They are David's notes. In a very incredibly well-written translation note, a whole page dedicated just to the concept of mokkori.
Of what mokkori is, because you can't just treat it super literally like just a boner sound effect, okay? Like, you have to take it in context with what else is going on, and he explains all of that back here. The extra content in here is good, too, because the extra content was not on the Quamix app. For example, in between a handful of the chapters, Tsukasa Hojo leaves a couple of little notes. I like one note in here that is him talking about how he definitely pulled Ryo from Rat in Cat's Eye. So it was kind of good to read. For me, I read, we swapped between each other.
Right, while you were reading one, I read the other.
So I read Cat's Eye first. I mean, I had read City Hunter before that, but in these physical volumes, I read Cat's Eye first, and I came across Rat, and I was like, well, that guy is like Lupin and Ryo. And then you go into the City Hunter book, and Tsukasa Hojo's like, yep, Rat became Ryo for this. Cool, Hojo. On top of that, there's a real good interview in the back of the book, too. And it looks like there's going to be more interviews or a continuation of the interview as more volumes of this manga release.
That's a great addition for something like this. If you're really trying to get into the head of the author, to have that little bit there. And it's really fascinating seeing how he puts it all together.
Well, it's what it is a conversation about how he worked with his editor, or in some cases, he just ignored his editor to do what he wanted to do.
Sometimes you gotta climb the highest mountain and sing the songs you want to sing on your own.
Like, I don't want to just, like, read chunks of the interview to you, because I feel like that is content that is very special and unique to this release. But this is one instance here towards the end of this interview talking about why Kaori's got short hair. Like, his editor was saying, oh, she should have long hair because nobody wants to read a story about a girl with short hair. And Hojo was like, well, I'm gonna do it anyway, basically.
And he was right.
Yeah, it worked.
So I cannot recommend enough, go pick up City Hunter. Like, pick up both of them, but if you're short on cash, pick up City Hunter
This is the City Hunter podcast, so obviously we're going to be pretty biased in the direction of City Hunter.
Because it's, again, the language is not slogged down by any 80s slang or jargon. It's a perfectly natural read.
Which actually, I mean, when you say that, like, sometimes I wish there was a little bit more 80s slang when we're talking about something that takes place in the 80s.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, thankfully, with the way this was handled, it feels timeless, even though it
does not feel too modern either. I will give it that. I will say that even though sometimes you think maybe it should have some 80s slang,
it's better off without it, quite honestly.
Well, it's good because it doesn't have too modern of slang.
Right, it's accessible in that way, because you're not being bogged down by, like, oh my god, that's so tubular, but it's not also a thing like Ryo looking at a girl in the street like, oh my god, look at her outfit, she ate. There's none of that.
Yeah.
Which is where I think you want it, because it won't put anybody off with that. And then on top of that, like we've mentioned before, having looked through, like you said, the Raijin comics as well, the action is upped. in some of these panels. It goes pretty hard. There's stuff
I told you, how many times have I told you, oh, the anime nerfs him?
Yeah.
It's so nerfed.
I will do you all listening one better. Go ahead and pick this up and let us know on social media when you get to the part with the nails.
I was gonna say...
And I'm just gonna say that.
I remember telling you about that when I first got to it on the app. I was like, Josh, the nails. You should see what this guy does with nails. God, you're not ready. You're not ready. This is
And then when I was reading it last week, I finally got to that part and I'm like, oh, that's what you meant about the nails. Oh.
Yeah. So this is a brutal, there's some brutal violence in this. I believe the manga...
But everybody who gets hit had it coming.
Well, yes. I believe the manga has now been technically aged up to count as seinen instead of shonen, I believe.
Which I think between the two of us, we kind of agree with that.
Sort of. Just for people who aren't as familiar, if for some reason you're just here and you're just like, oh, City Hunter, and I don't know anything else about anime, manga, whatever, right? So shonen is just literally young boy, and then seinen is older boy. So we're talking about teenage or young adult comics, right? So this originally published in Shonen Jump alongside Fist of the North Star, and both of those manga are really fucking brutal.
Yes.
Okay? But I dare say both of them, despite having the Shonen Jump label, by modern standards would be considered seinen.
I do like that at one point here in the manga, there's a reference. Ryo is making a Fist of the North Star reference himself.
Yeah, which is funny because his Japanese voice actor would also do Kenshiro of Fist of the North Star. In fact, he did that first before he did City Hunter.
But when the manga came out, there was no way of knowing that's going to be what happened in the long run.
Well, no. Well, yes, that's true. But it is funny because Fist of the North Star, the anime, I believe was already out. 1984, I believe?
Yeah, Fist of the North Star came first.
I know the manga obviously came first. I think the manga was 1983. Yeah, the anime for Fist of the North Star came out in 1984, which predates the City Hunter manga, so he already knows what Kenshiro sounds like in the manga. And then the anime would come out in 1987, and he would have Kenshiro's voice from the 1984 anime of Fist of the North Star. God, it's so good. It's so good. So it is very funny, absolutely, to see a panel of Ryo, impersonating Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star, because he absolutely could do that.
Yes. Never comes up in the anime, but it would be funny if it did.
They should have done it.
They should have done it.
But they couldn't, because Fist of the North Star was animated by Toei, and City Hunter was animated by Sunrise, so that's not a thing they could do. But people were stealing from each other all the time at that time, so maybe they should have just done it.
Right, which is why you can end up with 3 space sheriffs fighting Ryo on the roof in a video game.
I really want to know whether or not they're going to keep that.
Well, because I think they're just labeled as Robot 1, Robot 2, and Robot 3.
But they're not, though.
But no, if you look at them and you know Tokusatsu like I know Tokusatsu, they're clearly the first 3 space sheriffs.
They are. They very much are.
But to recap all of this, the City Hunter video game comes out in February.
Yeah.
So get on that. These manga just came out this week. Both Cat's Eye and City Hunter.
Please go get them.
Get with it. Act like you want
I will figure out what to do with I'll figure out what to do with the other 2 copies that I'm getting in the mail tomorrow. Maybe he'll go to one of you. Maybe.
We'll see. But definitely, these are such quality releases. You can see the love and the care that went into each one of them. The people working on it all love these properties, and they're out there now for all of you to fall in love with these properties, because you absolutely could. Definitely seeing Ryo and Kaori from a manga perspective gives me more of an appreciation for them.
Absolutely. And you can see the improvement in Hojo's art too.
Yes.
He's clearly improved. Hell, he improves over the course of City Hunter as well. You see in chapter 1, he does not look the same as he does all the way in chapter 25. He already looks like he's changed a little bit.
Yeah, he's more refined in the face.
And it's just going to continue from there. Both Volume 2 of both Cat's Eye and City Hunter are available for pre-order now as well. They're coming out in a couple more months. So they're still coming. They're still publishing them. I'm so excited because, like, I'm holding out hope we're going to make it to the end this time because Raijin did not make it to the end last time. They only made it to Volume 5 and then quit.
So for all you guys listening, get on this. If we don't support this thing, it might not make it.
With the dozens of us out there, we might just do it.
Yeah, so like go heaven. I just want to go to your local bookstore and pick up City Hunter.
No!
Yes.
In any case, I really appreciate you guys waiting for us to come back. Thank you for coming back along with us. Very kind of you to pop back in. We're really excited to finally be like back on our game. Like, we're really prepared to keep going again. Life sucked for a while. It sucks slightly less now, at least as far as making a podcast is concerned.
Yes, and that's the part we were waiting for.
Yeah, and we're ready to go. Let's try and do this. I hope next week. We don't want to make a lot of promises, but we're feeling pretty good about it right now.
So long as nothing else burns down.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
That's the plan. So come back next time when we cover the 12th episode of City Hunter 3, Goodbye City, a farewell gift, part 2.
But for real this time. And if you want to catch us outside this podcast, you can always find us both over on Blue Sky. I'm at JoshKnightFirst.bsky.social.
And I'm at MarzGurl.com. Thank you all so much for listening to our 129th episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, Josh will forget how to read.
I've forgotten how to read!
Bummer.
But I need read. How do?